y'all? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and I don't know what this video is about to be about, other than I just want to talk about the manga that I'm reading. Today, I actually went to the bookstore and bought some more. You know, I didn't buy all of this, but it's like 3 or 4 books in here that I just bought today. And while I was there, I was like, oh, I should do a video about this. I haven't done a video about what I'm reading. And yeah, I just was like, why not do a video? So that's why we here. So let's talk about the stuff I'm reading right now, y'all. So the first series we're gonna talk about is Dogsred. All right. So let me just be upfront. I am not a sports anime type of girly or manga type of girly, okay? Like the only sports anime I really have gotten, like I was into, was Haiku. Free. I know some people don't count Free, but they was in there going to meets and swimming, okay? Free. And then I don't really count Skate the Infinity as a but then people do consider skating, like skateboarding, as a sport, but like especially if you're doing like aerial jumps and stuff. But those are like the type of sports anime and manga I get into. So this series popped up on my app, and I normally read my manga off of an app called MangaPlus. It is located in the Apple Store and it's free. And most, if not all, the manga that majority of the manga that I read is on this app, and they updating all the stuff. It's normally like either on Tuesday, Thursday, or Sunday. But the sports series I'm talking about is called Dogsred. I'm like 2 chapters behind. Currently, they have 16 chapters. I think this one updates by like every 2 weeks. So low key, I be forgetting about it, but it actually is a good series. It's about I think he might be like 14 or 15-year-old boy. He used to be, or he might go back to, he used to be a figure skater. He actually won the All Japan Figure Skating Championship. He got like the highest score ever. And then when it came down to judging and him getting his score and he was about to be awarded, he clicked out. He lost his mind, okay? And now he's at a crossroad where him and his sister are now back in the countryside, living with their grandfather in this really small town. And there, ice hockey is like a humongous thing. Like the town goes up for it. It pretty much reminds me of like if in America, the small towns where like the football team is like the pinnacle, like everybody be going up for the high school football team. This is the same way. It's just a hockey team. And our main character, he got coined the nickname called the Rabbit Prince, which kind of reminded me of Haiku, because, you know, oh boy, it gets called Prince. But this one is different because he doesn't know what he wants to do. He doesn't know if he wants to go back to figure skating because his sister is trying to make a way where he can go back to living that life and become like an Olympian, or does he want to become a hockey player and, you know, skate with the team that everybody loves in their town. And it's pretty much like a really good read. You know what I'm really struggling with right now? Blue Lock, okay? Someone actually gifted this to me. And I appreciate them so much, but like something about Blue Lock I just can't get into. I just like, and I want to because I've seen the fan edits of the show and it looks so good, y'all. And I'm just like, it don't click. But I don't know if Blue Lock is going to be one of those shows where I have to watch the anime first, because there have been series where I've watched the anime first and then it made me like double back. One of those was JJK, and I'm still currently reading JJK, and JJK is on my list. Jujutsu Kaisen, I saw the poster for the anime and I was like, ugh, that's ugly. I don't like it. But then I ended up watching the anime. I got bored one day and sat down and watched it, and I was like, ooh, let me go read the manga. And now it's on my weekly, like anytime it updates, I'm reading JJK. Okay. And I think JJK is on, what chapter is JJK on right now? 247. 247. So it's like that's just, I'm weird like that. If I look at it and I don't think it's if it don't draw me in right off the bat, I won't do it. But sometimes, like I said, sometimes if the anime comes out and I like it, then I'll double back and go read the manga. And JJK is that, and maybe Blue Lock gonna have to be there too. Y'all, so the next story is Wild Strawberries, and I actually am enjoying this series. It's 13 chapters. I don't think it has up to date it yet. No, I think this one is also every 2 weeks they update. And basically the story is about two siblings. One sibling is, his name is Kingo, and then his sister's name I think is Kiana or Koyana. Y'all know Mia names. Y'all know Mia names are horrible. But it is set in this post-apocalyptic world, but we're in Japan. And there's killer plants. But everybody is infected with these plants. And you have to take medicine in order to suppress them. And like, because once you start to like spore, like plants, you know, the plants be coming out your eyes, your mouth. There's this police force or this task force. I think they're called like the fire force. And they come and they eradicate you. You could beg and say, you know, I was late with getting my medicine. Just let me take my medicine. No, your head getting chopped off or they setting you on fire. Either way it goes. Now, our main character, his name is Kingo. His sister is actually infected with one of they call the plants Jiki or Jike, and she is infected with one, but she's able to control it. One day, everything goes left and she blooms. But his sister has the ability to control the Jiki, and now it's somehow inside of him. Like his sister is actually inside of him, and his goal throughout the whole entire like series is trying to turn her back into human, like trying to figure out how to get her out of him, because now he has the ability to use the powers by way of her, but he can tell that she's fading fast. So his goal is like before she fades away completely, he wants to find a way to bring her back by way of him. It's actually a really interesting story. I mean, it's not an uncommon trope in manga, but I think the art style is actually, it's not very polished, but I love the way that they draw the killer monsters, because they're like half human and like their faces are crazy, and it makes you uncomfortable, which makes you feel how like tense the situations are for our characters, but specifically the main character in the story. So I really enjoy it. And it's called Wild Strawberries. The next series I've been reading is called The Blight of Man. And this one is pretty interesting as well. It does update every 2 weeks like the other two that I've mentioned, as well as they have 22 chapters right now. But basically the premise of this story is that, I'm trying to figure out how to talk about it without ruining it if people want to read it. Well, basically, people are dying, but then they're becoming mummies. And it is set in Japan. There's two main characters. There's a boy that's a twin, and then there's his friend who is pretty much a child of abuse. He's an abused child. And basically, you know, everyone's been like seeing sightings of what they call the mummy signs. And what happens is these people are dying, but they become mummified, but the people around them don't know that they're dead. Like people who love them can't see them as being dead, but those who don't have that connection with that person can tell that like you are corresponding or talking to a corpse. And the main premise of the well, I won't ruin it, because if I tell you the main premise, then you'll know the story. But pretty much the whole point of the story is trying to figure out why this is happening, and does it have something to do with something being spiritually wrong, or is it aliens? And it's a pretty interesting story, especially when you get to the one of the main characters. I really feel like the child that was abused, his story kind of feel like got wrapped up so quickly in the first couple of chapters. So now we're really just focusing on the other main character, who is a twin, and he has a sister, and his sister has very high spiritual energy. She has the ability to either show people the demise of like their future if they don't change, or to prophesy positive things happening for them. It just all depends on how she feels about them, or if she really it really does depend on like if she rocks with them or not. But their personalities are so different. Like, she was doted on as a child and kind of whisked away, and she didn't get the ability to like experience life because adults are greedy. But then you have her brother, who they kind of casted aside, and they weren't able to like really form a relationship, but he doesn't resent his sister. He actually loves his sister. So now they're trying to figure out how to work together in order to help the world stop the end of the world, or at least reveal to the world what is happening, so collectively the world can stop what is to come. But I really do enjoy the story. I will say it was slow in the first couple of chapters. Like, I feel like chapters 1 through 8 were like dragging. But once we got out of that, I think it picked up the pace because they started to introduce new characters. And the new characters that they introduced were actually really interesting. All right, y'all. So the next story I've been reading is called Make the Exorcist Fall in Love with Me. Or make the Exorcist Fall in Love. Now, this story is teen plus. And that's one of the things I like about this app. It'll tell you like how dark it kind of gets. So with it being teen plus, they really focus on like the themes in this story are dark. Like, they do talk about and you might even, well, you don't see it, but it's explicitly stated, as well as they don't shy away from like that's what was about to happen. But there is SA. You do see like some gory scenes in there, not too gory, but like the implications are there. And then there is abuse, physical abuse as well. So I'm just gonna read this the summary because I don't know how to explain it all the way. But I think that this summary is really, really good. It says, a boy was chosen by God to become the world's strongest exorcist and to face deadly demons in battle. Burdened with the fate of humanity, all he really wants to do is quietly bake sweets. When one day a certain girl enters his life, a story of love and hope blooming during a bloody holy war. So the story is interesting to me. It is one that is bi-weekly. It currently has 56 chapters. Now, I think the story is interesting, and I'm wondering if this is the type of story you should read once it's done, so you can sit down and read it all the way through, because it does get heavy at points. Like the last chapter I read last night, and I ain't gonna lie, I was like, ooh. Like, because it had me sitting in my bed kind of just thinking about the story, because I do think the author is doing a good job showing that, like, there's bad, like, so like it said, he was chosen by God to be the world's strongest and powerful exorcist, and that is what he is. But he is a child. I think he's no more than like maybe 13 or 14. He's around this age where he's starting to like feel things for girls, but he feels as though that they are wrong because he was punished by the church. Like, the priest that took care of him, that was like supposed to watch over him, beat him every time like he did something wrong, and was telling him that he had impure thoughts and he had to have a mind of purity. So now he's thinking these thoughts of like, you know, the sexual kind of this girl that he just met, that he really likes and she likes him, but it's messing with him where he thinks he's this horrible person. So the story is really doing a good job showcasing that they're like the enemy is the enemy. Like, Beelzebub, the 7 deadly sins, horrible. Like, there's no moral gray ground with them. Like, they done some horrible things in this story, like cannibalism, like just you know, annihilating towns just because, like, they really show you that these are the bad guys. But then you compare it to like the church, and then they show you that the church, there are people in the church that are no better, but in their mind they think they're doing the right thing because it's of God, but it's like it's not really of God if you're causing just as much pain as them. So I really wonder if this is a story where you should sit down and wait until Like that, like, because I'm in my mind, I'm like, maybe I should wait until it's done and then go back to read it. But like, since it updates bi-weekly, I don't know how long it would take for the series to be over. But I think it's really good. Like, the last chapter I read really had me conflicted because so much is going on, and like the priest is struggling, but it's like, we don't need you to struggle because the enemy is getting stronger. But then it's like, he's a kid, and yes, he's the strongest, but like, why was he tasked with this burden? It's a really good read, it really is. But I am trying to like think like, maybe I should wait until it's done for me to actually like sit down where I can just like go through my phone and just read the whole thing, or watch it like, or read it on my tablet. Next, I've been reading Undead Unluck, and I might start buying the manga for that one because I'm trying to have me a cute little like bookshelf. You know, some of the manga girlies, some of the anime girlies, especially, like, they some baddies, and I love the decor that they set up. Especially you go on TikTok and you see people's like anime rooms or cosplay rooms, and they have like the shelves, and it's nothing but books of the manga, and I'm like, with their figurines and stuff. I want that. So I'm trying to catch up. But Undead Unluck, I really enjoy this series. Currently, it has 190 chapters, and it updates weekly. The anime is out, and you can watch it on Hulu, or I think Crunchyroll, but I think I know I saw it on Hulu. But basically, it's about this girl, Funko. She has unluck. So the synopsis reads: as an unlucky girl prepares to face her death, she meets undead. So in their world, you have I hope I'm saying her name right, Funko. If she touches anyone that she cares about, they normally suffer a fate of death. And then she meets this guy who is undead, so like he can't die. But his goal now, because he wants to die, is to get Funko to fall in love with him to the point where like they kiss, or they actually like do things, and he dies, because that's what he wants. The reveal in this story about why the characters have undead, because there's different ones like Unmove, there's like Unmove, Unseen, what's the other one, like Unfair, like Uncut. Like the story and like the reveal of why they have these powers is trippy. But I actually watched the first episode of the anime, and I really do like it. So definitely check it out. I think it's an interest. Like, I will say again, this was a series where I saw the thumbnail and I was like, this ain't my cup of tea. But then I got bored one weekend and sat down. I need to stop doing it. Sat down and just watched it, and I was like, not watched it, but read the story, and I was like, oh, this is actually good. And then there was a channel, I don't know if they make videos anymore, but I think it's called Anime Lately. I think if they still do make videos, I'll put a screenshot of what their channel looks like on the screen. But they would talk about Undead Unluck, and I would be like, this kind of sounds good, but I don't know, because the thumbnail is ugly. I don't like it. It's not doing anything for me. But like I said, I sat down one weekend because I ain't have nothing to do, and I read it, and I was like, oh, this is actually good. And the anime, I've only seen the first episode. I like the vibe. The vibe is vibing. So check it out, y'all. So the next series we're going to talk about is Dandadan. I love this series so much. That's what I went to the store today, is to go pick it up. So the series updates weekly. It has 136 chapters, and I love this series. Like the synopsis says, it says ghosts, monsters, aliens, teenage romance, battle, and the kitchen sink. That is what this series is, and when I tell you, it's so good. It's so good. Every time I feel like the story can't, like that's being told can't be topped, they top it. They top they top it, and the illustrations, like the 2-page spreads, are amazing. So I'm upset because I wanted 1 through 3, but they didn't have 2, so I'm gonna have to buy 2 off of Amazon. or somewhere. But this is volume 1, and then this is volume 3. But this is our main female protagonist. Her name is Momo. She is like a girl delinquent. She knows she a baddie, but she believes in the occultic. So she believes in spirits and all of that good stuff, mainly because that is what her family does. They are like shamans or exorcists. They deal with this type of stuff. And then the second protagonist is Okeiron. He believes in aliens but doesn't believe in ghosts. Momo believes in ghosts and yokai and demon and all of that stuff, but doesn't believe in aliens. So they get into a heated debate in class, and they decide like, okay, we have to prove to each other that one exists. And things get to going after that, and it's so good. It's so good. I heard that they're getting an anime. I feel like once they get an anime, people are going to be flocking to this series because it's beautiful and it's actually very entertaining. It's a good series, y'all. Like, without spoiling it, there's one scene when they find out that there's this alien that has like a sickness, and the way to cure it is so simple to us, but to them. And at first I was like, this is stupid. But then when I thought about it, I was like, no, this is kind of interesting. And where we are in the story right now, I didn't think that's where we would go. Like, it's such a good, I think that's why I enjoy it, because I don't know where we going. Like, I have a kind of gist of like where the story is like moving towards, but I don't know like how it's going to end or like what the resolution is going to be. And I love that about this series. I love it. So Dandadan is that girl, y'all. So is that next girl. Is Miss One Piece. Now, I'm not late to the manga game. I'm late to buying the actual books game. The manga is currently on chapter 1103. It is on a break, and what's it called? They come out weekly. So I'm a One Piece girly. I ain't been here from the start, but I got here around, episode like 200. I don't know what that would be in the books, but I started really watching One Piece around like, I want to say 2014, 2015 probably 2014, 2013. But I didn't purchase the books, but I really started purchasing them. So I love that Shonen Jump has done this. So it's the three volumes in one. So 1 through 3, I currently have all the way up to volumes 23 through 24. And basically there's like, I think 26 chapters in each little volume. And I think right now there's 33 books, but they put all the volumes into one. And I love it because it conserves space. And I didn't want to have to sit there and buy all them books. Did not want to have to sit there and buy. When I was at the bookstore, I think currently volumes 97 through 99 are out in the 3-volume form, and I feel like that would cut down on, like, because if I have to buy each volume, that's a lot of space. At least if I buy one of these, it's 3 volumes and it's only I think they said there's only 33 books of the 3-volume ones. I'm cool with that. But I'm a One Piece girly. Like, honestly, I could make a video just me talking about One Piece and the characters that I love, but we're not going to do that. So this will never come off my list. It will always be on the list. But I also just wanted to show off that I'm starting to buy books. Next, I've been reading Kaiju number 8, but I feel like Kaiju number 8 is starting to hit My Hero territory. Someone also gifted me the first volume of My Hero, and I'm thinking about collecting it too, but I don't know. I've been kind of slacking on reading My Hero as well as Kaiju number 8, but Kaiju number 8 is a monster show. I told y'all they're getting a anime here soon, which I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. But it comes out bi-weekly as well. Currently they have 100 chapters, but it's just kind of, it's reached very tropey territory, and not in a good way. Like, I can deal with tropes. Like, I'm reading shoujo. I know that there's going to be tropes, but sometimes it's kind of like the Dandadan. Like, give me tropes, but show it to me in a different way. And right now, Kaiju number 8 ain't doing that for me. and I wanted to. My Hero, I need to get back to My Hero because I know it's ending soon. I know we're currently fighting All for One, and I'll save my thoughts because I know it's a lot of people that go up for My Hero, but right now we not on the same page with My Hero. But I'm gonna get back to them. So the next series I've been reading is called Gachiakuta. I think I said that right, y'all. Ooh, when I tell you, I was sitting here how to pronounce because I wanted to make sure I sound right. But Gachiakuta is a newer series. It has 81 chapters. I think it comes out bi-weekly as well, or the website that I read it on, they update bi-weekly. But I really enjoy this series. I think the art style is really good, but basically the premise is so there's this floating city that floats all over the world, and they drop their trash down upon the inhabitants that live on Earth. Our main character, Rudo, is like someone that loves to fix broken things, but even on this floating city, even though it's supposed to be paradise, there still is the slums, and then there's the wealthy, and there's actually a barricade that separates them. Something happens. Unfortunately, they decide to throw Ludo's off the city. He ends up falling down to Earth, and now he is grasping the understanding of what the city is and why the Earth looks the way it does, as well as he joins this new kind of like ragtag team called the Janitors, and they basically clean up the waste and trash that is dropped down by the floating city. Well, because of so much trash that they have been dropping down, the waste has now become like radioactive, and they turn into these werebeasts that have the ability to harm and hurt people. It's a really interesting story. I goes up for it. I'm hoping, I don't think if it does get an anime, I feel like people will go up for it too. The art style is beautiful. I think I read somewhere that the author of this series is actually the prodigy of the author that created Fire Force as well as Soul Eater, and I love Soul Eater. So you can kind of see the similarities, especially when they draw Black characters, because that's really what made me want to read the series. I was on Twitter and someone had a Twitter thread about authors who draw Black characters very well, and there was this one character, and I'll show a picture of her, and I was like, she a baddie, and I need to know who and what she is and what she does in this series. And I love and I enjoy reading this series. I think the concept is really interesting, about trash coming to life, and the way these janitors combat this trash is that they have like other things that people would consider junk, because it's special and sacred to them and it's endowed with all these emotions and feelings. It becomes a weapon. But Rudo has the ability to control multiple weapons, which they're now starting to explain how his ability works, which it actually makes sense. And because he's able to control other people's weapons and endow them with his emotions and make them stronger. He doesn't understand it yet because he is also a child. Rudo's probably like maybe 13 or 14, but everybody else around him is like of age, and there are some young people too, but they're starting to understand his power and trying to help him understand it. But I feel like the reveal is going to be such a payoff about like his story, about his family, about the Watch series, that's like these gloves that he wears. There's other series. It's just, I feel like it's going to be so good once they reveal like all these stories that they are throwing out there to us. So I'm definitely going to continue watching this series. So that is what I'm currently reading, but I have a might list. So while I was at the store I ended up getting volume 4 of Hell's Paradise. I already told y'all about Hell's Paradise. At least I think I did. I love this series. I know it's already done, but for Christmas, my sister's best friend, she actually gifted me series 2 through 3. So I got 1. I was hoping that at the bookstore they would have volume 1, and they said they had it on their website, but when I get there, they talking about it's still on the truck. I said, then why is it on the website that you got it? I don't appreciate that, okay? You're giving me mixed signals. But I want to collect all 12. But love this series. I might start reading it over again. There's another series I saw while I was there called I Can't Stop Cursing You. And the synopsis sounded really good. It was like someone made a deal with this being and they have to curse 30 people in 30 days or they'll die a horrible fate. And it's like a detective which is trying to stop the person. It kind of reminds me of Death Note in a sense, but I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, so I'm thinking about reading that. I also heard Sakamoto Days is actually really good, about the guy that used to be a hitman and then he met his wife, fell in love with her, and decided he didn't want to be about that life anymore, and they end up having like a little girl, and then he gets like a prodigy that is a hitman as well, but might try to turn his life around. But now all these other hitmen want to come after him because he was like number one, which kind of reminds me of Hell's Paradise when they were sending all the other assassins after my homeboy because he was the best one and everyone just wanted a chance to best him. Then there's this new one called Daddy and Buddy. This one's kind of weird. So I started I keep saying watching, like, well, I mean, when you read, you're watching pictures. But Daddy and Buddy, it's basically this like gymnastics mixed with like evil spirits. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, the main character is like a 30-something-year-old man who has been seeing like these bugs around his kids, and he ends up meeting this guy who can also see these bugs, but the guy works in this organization that stops the bugs that target kids to make them have like bad feelings, and when they get too strong the kids end up dying. It's weird, but I was like, this kind of seems interesting. I only read maybe the first 3 chapters. I feel like that's a series I'm gonna have to wait and let it like build up and then continue reading it, because the first, I was like, this is weird, and I'm not getting the like severity of how bad this is, because a child crying because it wants a toy, how's that a bad emotion? I don't know. There's this other one called, I think it's called Gokurakugai. Girl, let me go to how to pronounce. What they say on how to pronounce, y'all? Gokurakugai. Okay. So that one is fairly new as well, and it keeps popping up on like my app for me to like read it, and I don't know. This one only updates monthly, and that means you only get 1 chapter a month, and I don't know how I feel about that. At least give me bi-weekly, you know. Every 2 weeks I get 2 chapters. But it's basically like people and beastmen live together, but the beastmen are like second-class citizens, but then some beastmen can turn into like evil. It's weird. I'm sorry. It's weird. And I read weird things. I'm not gonna lie. I like, my friends make fun of me all the time because I read weird stuff. But I don't know if I'm gonna read this. I don't know if I'm gonna read this. I don't know. I want to, but I don't know. But yeah, that's my might list right now. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got to say. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to me ramble. I just wanted to make this video, and yeah, if you have any suggestions of stories that you've read, or if the things that I've talked about, if you've read them, what do you think about them? Please drop down in the comments below. But yeah, y'all, remember to be bravely authentic. If you liked the video, thumbs it up. If you wanted more of this content, subscribe. Either way, I hope you have a good day. Deuces.